The node server actually isn't included there. That's true. So I can push that too. After I figure this out. Oh, did I ever save that key error? I don't know if I did. Can I change that now? Okay, what can I do in scene? I can do a try. And here I'll have to set like... set something equals false. Like has PRing. Like PRing enabled? To be like something like this. Or just like this? Anyway, then when I run the scene... this enabled equals the global. And then the place where I need PRing, which is here. Here. This is basically configuring the GUI. So I can say if PRing is enabled, then do this stuff. Then when I stop it, same thing. So maybe that will help. I guess I'll call this guard against PRing import or something like that. And maybe that will work. But probably not. Great. In the meantime, I should probably learn Rust or something. Well, I could either learn Rust or actually... I wanted to find a way to implement this text rendering algorithm. Since this would make it a lot easier to render mobjects. And hopefully do it in a way that isn't incompatible the way that Grant's shaders are. Although that might be kind of hard too. Didn't get a pre-commit error, that's good. I can push the 3 server stuff now. This isn't even a Git repository. I don't really... Okay. I search this up every time, how to add a new repository. Add a readme file. I don't need to git ignore, I guess. Tried running the test and it said no module named manim.gui. Well, did you consider adding a module called manim.gui? I can't even find the PR. It's on my to-do list. Great. Oh great, it failed. Again. With the read the docs thing. Oh, did I never add Manim GUI here? Oh, I didn't. Okay, what was the error here? Okay, the same thing. Great. Well, not great, but at least I figured it out. Don't need a git ignore. Don't need a license. So I think what I do now is do git remote add. Why is this still called master? Is this not updated in the new version of Git or something? I call origin. I'm just gonna add everything. Oh, I added node modules. Oh no. Get rm cached r. I don't know if you're supposed to commit the lock file either. Boiler Tour 3 server. It should be push origin. Just get push origin, right? Did it work? Do we have to get push still? Oh, this one's main, but that one's master. Even better. Did this crash again yet? Where's the full request? Alright, we got another failure. Wait. Oh, this needs to be guarded too. GUI line 3. What a pain. Can I just accept it? Main and master are entirely different commit histories. This is making it difficult for me. Thanks. Maybe I can just change the other one to be the default. Well, I guess I'm not supposed to do that. Yeah, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch the other one. Yeah, okay, whatever. So now this has this. And I'm gonna delete main. Okay. Now I'm gonna rename master. There. Yeah, hopefully more people will be able to use 3JS with Manim in the future. Okay, all of these need to be guarded. Actually, this whole file, right? I'll do this. Otherwise, this is false. Then all of these. Actually, this should only be imported. I think this would only be used if PRing was enabled. I guess I can say if not PRing enabled. This can just throw a runtime error. But it's odd to use on Windows. What do you mean by odd? Do I just put global here? Oh, I spelled this wrong. The GUI resets to being outside the window. So I have to drag it up every time. The GUI resets to being outside the window. Oh. I think I know what you mean. You mean like... Oh, GUI test. Do you mean like if you switch this then the GUI moves somewhere. It's peeking out the bottom, so the GUI is like here. And they have to move it. Okay. That, yeah, I don't know why that would happen. But okay. It's probably not super hard. You can configure the way in which this window appears here. The built-in Python stuff as well. Okay. I mean, for what it's worth, I have a very strange window manager. And then I tailored the code to basically work around mine. So there's a decent chance that something just doesn't work that well. Will this thing stop? All right. We haven't run into any docs errors yet. Although it hasn't reached the part where it would. I'm kind of nervous for learning Rust. It's going to be a lot of work. Oh yeah, or they could just do this text rendering. Why do you need Rust? I want to move as much of Manim into Rust as I can. Building Manim in Rust. I want to move a lot of it into Rust. That would be extremely helpful for the speed. And there is a way, there is like this thing to interface between Python and Rust. Why is this in dark mode? That's weird. Did I change this to dark mode? Time for me to learn Rust too, I guess. And this is... Okay, I'm not 1000% on that. But I do want to do that. Pretty much because I profiled this. Hold on. Did this thing crash yet? Not yet. But I profiled this. And there are actually a few things that are kind of silly that take up a lot of time. One of them was just copying the data into the shader, which wouldn't require Rust. But, right? Def. Get shader wrapper list. This takes up a lot of time. Here. And most of what takes up the time is just like these lines, like this one and this one. Which all these really do is copy data into the shader, like this. And the reason it has to do this, and it has to do this on every frame, EUQ, thanks a ton. But the reason it has to do this on every frame is because if those points are updating on each frame, it has to copy all of them into the shader, every frame. Do you have your dot file somewhere? I do, but I haven't pushed them in a long time. Yeah, so if I can push them. Everyone's asking for my code. I feel so popular. This is like the third time this stream that someone's asked me to push something. But this is also NeoVim, so if you're using regular Vim, I'm actually using a lot of plugins that are specific to NeoVim. It's true. You know what I might end up doing after this? Oh, well, I could do the text rendering. But it would also be nice to get a clone of Manim and just remove all the stuff that needs to be removed, because there's so much more complexity than we need. Like in scene, pretty much all of these that aren't these two should probably be nuked off the planet. Like, if I could do it without people getting mad at me, I would probably just delete these files. Other than these two. Then an animation. I think these are mostly okay. Composition is pretty complicated. Rotation is probably not really needed. Animation is probably mostly okay. All the stuff from the... yeah, all these cameras can probably be nuked off the planet. Other than just regular camera. And even then... this one is basically a Cairo renderer. It's not really a camera. Is this still going? Nice. We got some... wait, the pull request? Yeah, the docs are pretty enormous. Why would the pull request fail? From .import config. Huh. Relative import with no known parent package. I don't get it. Where is this? This is in GUI. So, dot. Isn't that just from Manim? Or is it doing this because it doesn't... does this need like an init.py? Init. That has an init.py. That has an init.py. That has an init.py. Okay. I guess I'll make an init.py. Okay, I think I'm gonna try this text rendering. And I am not looking forward to it. I think that's gonna be pretty complicated to do. But someone's gotta do it. So let me... actually, this is the example right here. It's not a ton of code. I'm gonna go to modern GL. I go to Manim just so I can get the poetry shell. And then should have been examples render to texture. Render to texture example, I think. Like boing. Great. Okay, so the point of this is that it's rendering to a texture and then using that texture to render again. And the text rendering algorithm that I want to use also renders to a texture, requires rendering to a texture. Wasn't trying to do that. So I'm gonna have to learn how to render to a texture, basically. Manim, poetry shell. Okay. So it's imported from this. Colors and texture. Model view projection. This is using the prefixes too. Maybe I should keep them. Light, color, texture. There's the use texture boolean. Wait, what is this doing? Upon initialization, the program compiles this. Then it just runs this. Self.texture.use. It has this. Load texture 2G. Just infographic 1. And I assume infographic 1 is like a picture. Okay, so I assume this is what's being rendered on this animation. Though it's super small. Actually, I can make this... Yeah. So what does load texture 2D do? Wow, this renders the Google style box string so nicely. Okay, this does kind of a lot of stuff. Resources.textures.load. Though I don't know if it's necessary to do that if I'm rendering to the texture. What I think is happening is render is being called twice. Well, it's definitely being called twice because it's doing this for loop. And so one time, it's saying self.texture equals this, clearing the frame buffer and then using the frame buffer, and then rendering. And the other time it's using the screen and then rendering.